Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been about 4 months since my first video, and I'm really sorry for that. Not that I'm sure anybody really cares that much. But if you did, what happened is I had borrowed my sister's camera because I don't own one of my own, and I recorded several videos. I recorded a few tags, a couple of book reviews, and I had recently gotten a large portion of books that I had separated into two different book hauls, and when I was transferring it to my computer, right after I was done editing that first video, all of the other files, they were corrupted or ruined somehow, and even the original one that I uploaded ended up somehow getting ruined. I don't know how. I'm not super techy, but basically I lost all of that stuff. So I had nothing. I posted one video and then I had nothing to follow it, and I had no plans in the future. Well, I mean, I did have plans to get a camera, but it didn't end up working out that way. So I didn't have a camera. And I still don't have a camera, and I have yet to be able to get my hands on my sister's camera or any friend's camera since then. So I just decided I was tired of waiting. You know, I do have this webcam on my computer, and I know that it is not good quality at all. But you know what? I've gotten a lot of books lately that I was excited about, and I really wanted to do a book haul for you guys. I really want to get involved in this community. I'm tired of just watching and commenting. I want to put some content out there. And so I just decided, you know what, until I can get something better, I am going to go ahead and move forward with my webcam. And I hopefully will be able to get a better camera sometime very soon. And I'm sorry if this is hard to watch because the quality is so bad. But I mean, hopefully we still have a good time. Okay, so the first book that I got recently is a buy that was heavily influenced by the BookTube community. I hadn't heard of it before then, and it's a very popular one, and that one is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. So I've heard about this book from several different YouTubers, or booktubers should I say, and I'm sure most of you have probably heard of it already or even read it, but in case you haven't, this book is set in the future, 2044, and basically the world is kind of a crummy place. So people escape into this virtual reality video game place where there's I guess a ton of planets, and you can choose where you want to live and fall in love and basically live your life in this game. So our main character is a boy named Wade Watts, and he dreams of finding the lottery ticket. So there's some lottery ticket in this game, and to be honest, I don't know what you do when you find it, but I'm sure it's gives you money or maybe something in the real world. That's nice. I'm not too sure about that, but I know he dreams about it, and I know that he finds the first clue, and that's going to set him on the path towards finding the lottery ticket. And so yeah, I'm really excited to get into this one because I've just heard tons of good things about it. So the second book that I got is Fire with Fire by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian, and I was super excited about this book. I am a huge Jenny Han fan. I've rarely read anything that I didn't like of hers. For those of you that don't know, this is the second book in a trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy. And the first one is Burn for Burn, Fire with Fire, and then Ashes for Ashes, or Ashes to Ashes. And so this book basically follows three girls that are unlikely friends, and they each have a person that has wronged them, and they basically want revenge. So they come together and they come up with these plans to get these people back. And I have not read this one yet, but I have read the first one, Burn for Burn, and I mean, although it may be my least favorite Jenny Han book, it is still a really good read. So I'm excited to get into the sequel. Okay, so the third book that I got was actually an impulse buy while I was at Target because the gorgeous cover drew me in, and then the synopsis grabbed me further, and that is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, and I'm pretty sure it's a fairly new release, but I mean, look at the spine on this thing. I mean, it looks gorgeous on my shelves, and it comes with one of those little bookmark things, and it's basically a fantasy novel. I believe it's new adult. Actually, I'm not sure about that. But it sounds like it's like a very heavy fantasy, and it's about a girl who has to learn how to become the queen and combat a malevolent sorceress in an epic battle between light and darkness in this spectacular debut, the first novel in a trilogy. And I mean, I love fantasy, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I mean, it just sounds like it could be pretty epic. Okay, so my fourth book is Tumble and Fall by Alexandra Coutts. So this is a book that I heard about on someone's channel a while ago, and it just sounded really interesting to me. It's basically like there is a meteor or comet or something that is going to hit the earth. I think that that's what's happening, but basically the world is going to end, and everybody knows it's going to end, and it's a week. Oh, and it's a mile-wide asteroid. Maybe I should just look at the back. But it says it will hit the planet, it won't be altered, it's unavoidable, and it says what happens next. And it's basically about, so a girl named Sienna and two boys maybe, Caden and Zan, or Zane is a girl, I guess. So it's going to follow these people, and I think that these two look like they might find some love in the last week of Earth, and I'm really excited to see how the characters handle, the inevitable end of the world, and I wonder how deep this will get, because I imagine that, the end of the world is definitely going to have darkness. Everybody is going to feel like a darkness about that, and I hope that that's at least a little bit reflected in here so that it would feel like an honest story. The next book that I got is House Rules by Jodi Picoult. So I've been a Jodi Picoult fan for a while, and I don't buy too many of her books because I do feel like some of them can feel very similar. Her writing style, at least in all of them that I've read, are the same, and they all have like a similar theme. Like there's somebody who's very ill or something tragic has happened, obviously a family that's all dealing with that. I mean, the stories are good and I do like them, but I haven't bought a book of hers in a while, and I've had my eye on this one because it does seem a little different. It's about a little boy who I believe has Asperger's syndrome, and for those that might not know what that is, it's basically like autism, but it's like less severe of a form of it, I believe, and it's mostly just like severe like social, I want to say anxiety, but I don't feel like that's the right word, but I believe it's mostly social issues. They have trouble fitting in like social situations. This is more, besides like the cancer and the things like that this is a syndrome, that was different enough that I would want to dive back into her writing. The next book that I got is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. So this book is basically about a world where there are these walled cities called cold towns, and I believe that the people that are in them have a disease that's sort of zombie-like. I'm not too sure about it. All I've read is the synopsis, and it doesn't give enough information to really be able to tell whether it's a zombie-like place, but basically she goes out for a party one night, and when she wakes up, I believe this is what happened, she wakes up in one of the cold towns, and like I think a lot of her friends are maybe dead, and I know that her boyfriend has the disease, this cold town disease, and so I know that once you go into a cold town, you don't ever come out. So I just, it sounded very interesting to me, so we will see. I'm sorry, I keep like looking down. That's like even harder than on my camera that I had before. Is like now with the webcam, it's like I'm right below the camera. It's so hard not to like look at myself. I'm trying to focus. The next book that I got is Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly. So this is a mermaid book, as you can see, and I thought the cover was very pretty. Not that that's the only reason you should buy a book, but I also heard some pretty good things about it. I have not read any mermaid books, and so I was interested to get into them, and I have been looking for Of Poseidon, I believe, is the first one in that trilogy, which I forget what the trilogy name of it was, and I think I'm going to get that soon, but I just happened to get my hands on this one first, so I'm excited to get into it. I think it might be a little bit younger. I know that it's like Disney, yeah, Disney Hyperion. So I feel like that overall it might be for a younger audience than the Book of Poseidon. But basically, I'm really excited about it. I did flip through the pages a little bit, and the few sentences, I read a few sentences here and there because I just do that. I know it's bad. But you know, in those few sentences that I read, I was pretty impressed because unless I just happened to land on like the perfect sentence, and I forget the situation now because it was a couple of weeks ago, but they had a sentence where it really made me feel like I was underwater when I read it. You know, it was something about her fin, or she was like swishing her fin, trying to, you know, or doing something, and just like all of the descriptive words really made me feel like I was underwater and got me pretty excited to read this one. So we'll see. The next book that I got is The Orphan Master's Son by Adam Johnson. This is a book that I've been wanting to see or I've been wanting to read for a long time. And I just happened to find it in the bargain section. So yay, it's an adult book, and we know how like adult books can be even more expensive than young adult. But basically, this is a book about a man in North Korea. And I'm kind of fascinated with North Korea a little bit. Like, I wonder what it would actually be like to live there. So to read a book about it is kind of the next best thing, because I would never actually go there. But I do know that the man in here, so I think he becomes like a rival to the dictator, and it's all for he's in love with a famous actress over there. And so, I mean, I imagine that this can get pretty intense and serious. Should be a good read. The next books that I got are What's Left of Me and Once We Were by Kat Zhang. Anyway, so these are basically, I think they're called the Hybrid Chronicles, I think is the name of the series, and I believe the third one recently came out or is about to come out. I'm not too sure, but basically it's a world where everyone is born with two souls in their body, and so it's you and another soul in your body, and you share the body, and basically over time the, I guess, dominant soul will push out the other one, or the other one will just fade away, and then they just become one person, you know. And I don't know how old you are when this happens, but I do know that our main character is pretty old, and she still has both her souls, and people I think aren't sure what's going on here or what they're thinking, but basically that's where the book picks up. Is here we have this main character with two souls, and I just think that that sounds pretty interesting. And I really enjoyed The Host by Stephenie Meyer, in which there was sort of two souls in one body, and you know, I'm interested to get into this one and see how she would deal with that situation too. And the next books that I got are Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm, and these are the first and second books in the Grisha trilogy. Ruin and Rising is the third book, which recently came out. I'm hoping to get my hands on it very soon. And this is a fantasy novel, which I have heard people rave about, especially recently. People have done like a readathon or something with all of these books, so a lot of people have read them recently and had really good things to say about them, so I'm super excited to get into these. The next book that I got is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's a hardcover book without a jacket, and it's got like that scary bad man symbol on the front. I really like a good horror book, and I have never read a young adult horror book. And, you know, the whole thing intrigued me. I'm pretty sure it's about, well, I know what it's about because I already read it, but it's about a possession, basically, or not about a possession, but it's about a group of girls at a school who believe one of the other students is possessed by a demon, and they basically kidnap her to try and exorcise her themselves. And it says right here, even though it's young adult, it says, for mature audiences only. Is that backwards? Because I have this on mirror image. Have all of them been like that? No! My bad. I chose the wrong setting, so everything has been backwards. So I'm going to go switch that right now, and the rest of it will be normal. Okay, so I am back and hopefully everything will be right now. You know, I switched it because I remember having to switch it before when I used to try and film on here and just wasn't satisfied with the quality. And I guess I figured I would just have to do it and I didn't even think about which way it would be. I just unchecked it. I can't believe I did that. But now everything should be right. I can't believe I didn't notice before now either. But here it says for mature audiences only. And you see all of those bad man symbols. Anyway, I'll do a review of this one if you guys want. I haven't seen any. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but I really enjoyed this. I read this in a day, so it was a fast read. It was a good scary read, not scary enough that I was like afraid to go to sleep at night, but like a good scary. It was a good scary. All right, the next books that I got are the Chaos Walking Trilogy. Dun dun dun. So I actually owned The Knife of Never Letting Go before, but I owned the other covers. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that these were, for a while, only available in Europe. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you couldn't get them here because I remember looking. And then they were released here. So I snatched those up as fast as I could. And I am going to give away my other knife, The Knife of Never Letting Go. If any of you guys want it that see this video, you can let me know and I'll ship it to you. Maybe. Let me look into that. I might actually do a giveaway. I actually have a few books that I was thinking about just donating, but if I have anybody that might actually want these books, maybe I would just give them to you guys, people that I know would love to have them. So I'm going to think about that and see how much shipping and stuff like that would be, and then I'll let you know in my next video. And just because I didn't say it, the other two in that series are The Ask and the Answer and Monsters of Men. I feel like I look weird now. So now that I switched this around, I'm like looking at like my unmirrored reflection and it just looks like wrong to me. Like so weird. Like I can't even. The next book that I got was Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis, or McGinnis, not really sure, but I'm pretty sure this is like a post-apocalyptic, I believe, where there's not very much water. And so I know that this girl, they own like a little pond or a little lake in front of their house where they have water. You can see her up there. Actually, the quality's so bad, I don't know if you can see her up there, but she's holding a gun, and her and her mom, I think, protect it, and basically, I think people find it, people from other places that need water, and they come, and they are trying to basically take their water, and they're trying to defend it, and that's the basic premise of this book, I believe. My next book is Pulse by Patrick Carman, and this book is basically about a girl who finds out that she's, like, telekinetic, I think that's the right word, where she can basically like move things with her mind, and this is in the future. So basically, yeah, the telekinetic ability is called a pulse, and she finds a boy that has the same talent with her, or maybe it is somebody who is already her friend, I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure that there is a group of people. Hold on, let me just read this really fast. Okay, so the synopsis actually doesn't say what they have to fight for or why they're fighting, but it does say that she has to decide whether or not she wants to join the boy Dylan, who also has this power to save the world. She has to decide if that's what she wants to do. So, yeah, this seems pretty interesting. So, yeah. The next book that I got is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, and this book is basically about, I think, like, there were two friends, and one of them was initially very shy, I believe that is Sloane, and the other girl helps her, like, come out of her shell and makes her life interesting, and then I think for one summer she just leaves, and she leaves behind this to-do list for Sloane to do, and it's got things like, easy things like, apple picking at night. That's an easy one. And then it's also got things like kiss a stranger and skinny dipping. So I has to like complete these tasks, or she believes she needs to complete these tasks, before she comes home, or just to make sure her life remains interesting. I'm not sure why she feels the need to do all of these things, but I'm sure I'll find out when I read it. And the last book, finally, that I received recently is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. So I completely even forgot that this was coming out, and I just saw it at the store and was like, yes, come to me, I need you. And for those of you that don't know, this is the third book in the, actually, what is it called the Throne of Glass series? What is this series called? I need to look that up. Okay, yeah, so it is called The Throne of Glass. The name of the series is Throne of Glass, and it starts with the first book, which is Throne of Glass, and then The Crown of Midnight, and then there is also like a bind-up of novellas called The Assassin's Blade, I believe. I actually still don't have that one. I need to get that one. And this is the third book, Heir of Fire, and this one is pretty chunky. Looks big. I'm excited to get into it because this has been an amazing trilogy so far, or trilogy. This has been an amazing series so far. And for those of you that don't know, this is basically about an assassin named Selena, who in the first book she has been imprisoned to work in these like mines, which are, it's basically sort of like a labor camp, but people die there. Like nobody lives longer than a month, but she was there for a year before the prince of the land pulled her out of there to come be in a competition, basically where the king wants to have his own personal assassin to do like his dirty work. And so he has this competition, and if she wins this competition, then basically she would earn her freedom. She would work for the king for like, I think it was 5 years or something like that. I can't remember exactly right now. But then after that, she would be free. And so she participates in that. And let me tell you, it's pretty good. When I originally read the synopsis, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to pick it up because I have a lot of books, and my TBR pile is just ever growing. But I am so glad I read that. I highly recommend it to any of you that want to read it.